November 7th, 2027, and we have international seminar. Today is 499 seminar, and the paper is Plastic Pollution Pathways from Marine Aquaculture Practices and Potential Solutions for the Northeast and Atlantic region. And today, Jason will present. Jason, the floor is yours.
So, okay. Good morning, everyone. This is Jason Hu from Taiwan Indigo Waters Institute. Today, I would like to share this paper. The title is Plastic Pollution Pathway from Marine Aquaculture Practice and the Potential Solution for the Northeast Atlantic region. First is the abstract. So the aquaculture practice at sea are far from impact neutral and remain important source of marine plastic pollution, with projected rapid continual growth in this sector, in this aquaculture sector. If left on management, aquaculture pollution can have detrimental environmental and social implications. So the author used this DPSIR framework. This paper examines current practice and the pathway of plastic pollution from marine aquaculture in this region, drawing on findings for literature, stakeholder consultations, and beach litter assessment. So they find some pathway for aquaculture-related litter identified include rough weather, and the farmers' behaviors. Inadequate access to recycling facilities and low price of consumer plastic and high cost of recycling. And the beach litter analysis conduct as part of this study exposed serious issue of under quantifications resulting from different difficulties in source identification and lack detailed categorization in official monitoring systems. This paper makes recommendations to improve litter quantification and waste management, including the use of local knowledge and the experts to identify source of marine litters. This is a paper published in, I think it's last year, and because the reason which I choose this paper because we really want to update some information about the international or EU areas, how they deal with the aquaculture waste management or marine debris from aquaculture industry. So on the introduction, I think I just pick up some interesting point to share with you. So first is from 2009 to 2019, the global aquaculture production is growing by 64% in volume, but only 4% increase for wild capture fisheries, and it was projected to be double. For the aquaculture will be double by 2050. So it's compared to the other seafood, the wild catch, the aquaculture is growing rapidly. And plastic are widely used in current aquaculture practice, provide a great number of opportunity for waste or loss. The problem is amplified by inadequate waste management as a result of poor awareness and the lack of waste collection facilities. And there's another issue is that this problem only picked up by public or by the academias in the past 2 decades. So the author do a research on the number of paper related to this topic. It's aquaculture or plastic marine litter related topic. So they think there's a rapid increase by the number of papers in recent 20 years or in last 10 years. And most of those papers, it's published by Marine Pollution Bulletin, and the second maybe the Science of the Total Environment and Environmental Pollution. These three journals and some other journals. So their research topic has four focus questions. The first one is what is the extent of plastic pollution from aquaculture in this region, and what are the main causes, and what are the key challenges to facing these issues, and what steps could be taken. So let's go to the methodology. So they did some literature review, and they try to collect all the data on the extent of plastic pollution from marine and coastal aquaculture practice in this North Atlantic region. And their main data source is this project. It's called AquaLit project. Actually, I guess some of the author is related to this project, and so I go to this project's website, and about in this paper they mention the AquaLit project. They collecting data from different sources, including the ASPA. I think you already know that ASPA has a very long history and in these regions, and this HELCOM program or project is focusing on Baltic seas by Finland, Norway, Sweden, these areas, and this EMO net. I'm not very familiar with this project. And the last one, the data has come from a Marine Litter Watch. I think it's a popular mobile app. It's a citizen science project. It's promoted by, I think it's by some institute in EU. So they have collecting data from all the beach cleanup organizations or just public citizens. So all these different data were collected by this AquaLit project, and they also got collecting other data like from the ASC, the Aquaculture Stewardship Council, or they do some just some research on the scoopers from the academia or publications. Okay, so another survey they have in this paper they have data from some literature review, and they go to some field surveys, and for this field survey they did a so-called in-depth beach litter surveys. So they choose two beach sites. One is in Netherlands. It's an island, and this island is uninhabited. Nobody lives there. And another harbor in Scotland, this old Dorning harbor, is more populated and is relatively close to aquaculture industry areas or activities. So doing their survey, I think it's very interesting that they use a very special method to recall the items or separate the items. They call it's litter ID method. It's kind of extension of the ASPA beach litter monitoring guidelines. I think the ASPA the guideline is very popular in Europe, and it separates all the beach debris into 112 items, different items by maybe usage or materials. But in this little ID method developed by this Strietman, they were further sorted into additional subcategories based on the type and origins. And as you can see the photos here, I checked this 2021 paper. They did some, I think it's a very big project in Greenland. So they went to Greenland and to different beaches and shorelines. Some is very, very remote, and some is nearby the cities. And they collect all the debris to the laboratory, and they very detailed analyze the items, and they create a lot of subcategories. And they try to, after that, they will photograph all the categories, and they ask multi-stakeholders to come to their laboratory and or show them the photos to try make them to engage and to understand the sources of those marine debris. I think it's quite unique, and it's some kind like we did it maybe 3 years ago in Taiwan, because we also find a lot of fishery related or aquaculture related debris that we cannot recognize or we don't understand. So we just take photos from the shoreline, and then we took the photos to the fishing harbor to ask some stakeholder or fishermen to try to collect their knowledge. So the result of this paper, this is a map of some shoreline of Greenland. So the result of this paper, they try to draw a map that all the different sources of marine debris and their pathways, like some nearby the big cities, maybe some people litter in the land or in the coastline, and maybe some area is famous by ski jet, and some islands it's popular for huntings or fishery, anglers, camping, and small more countries, not so urban areas. All the different sources will come to their survey areas, so that they really try to want to try to figure out the different source into the more details, and from the subcategories and the stakeholders, like in interviews. Okay, so, and they also have some stakeholder consultations. So they have visited 3 aquaculture companies in Scotland, and they separate in 5 different areas, different farms, fish farms. And the second, they have some these aquaculture stakeholder like workshops. So during the workshop, they invite all the people from different sectors, from 5 different countries. And after the workshop, they also have some interviews, maybe it's directly face-to-face interview or some online meetings. So those interviews it's come from farmers, manufacturers, researchers, NGOs, and government officials, all from different sectors. So they collect knowledge and ideas and suggestions from all different peoples. And now they introduce the DPSIR framework. I think this one is very new for me, but I think it's interesting. So I guess maybe some of you already know this, but I still try to explain as for my knowledge. It's called, it stands for driver pressure, state, impact, and response. So this DPSIR framework is a systems-based approach in analyze the relationship between human activities and the environment, particular pressure created by human. So this is the figure of this framework. So people need to address this kind of map or this figure from driving forces and pressures and the status. The status means the state of the environment or the social economic status. And the next one is impact. And they can discuss how they're gonna to respond. How can they respond to different like drivers, pressures, states, or impact, and try to make a difference or to change these issues. So this framework can provide a holistic overview of the cases, consequences, and possible response to the problem. I think this is very interesting because the author used this DPSIR, this framework, to explain the result of this paper. Because for me, at the beginning, I think this paper has different side project or small project. So I think it's difficult to collect all the small results together. But I think they use this way, try to more systematic way to introduce the result from. So I will introduce the driver, pressure, state, and impact, and as well as response for the result. So first one is drivers. So the authors, I think this is relatively easy for us to understand, or we already knew that. So the drivers for aquaculture related data in marine environment was to feed the growing populations, because there are more and more population, bigger and bigger populations in the Earth. So we had to provide more food. So there are two key drivers. The first one is the projected increase of the global seafood demand. So as this demand keeps increasing, so we will know there will be more and more aquaculture industry growth. And the second one is a stable wild capture productions. So if there's still plenty of wild fish in the sea, maybe the increase will be not decreasing, but just not so increase so rapidly for the aquacultures, because there's still plenty of wild fish. So there are these two main drivers. Okay, let's go to the pressures, because we have these drivers. The drivers will cause pressures. So in the pressures sections, the author try to collect all the information from the stakeholders and some literatures, all different data. So they use these two tables. This table on the left side is they try to identify the key species, key aquaculture species in this area, which is salmon, mussels, oyster, and clams. And all these different species will have different farming countries and farming techniques. And some maybe cage farms, and some is in the intertidal areas, and some is like these shellfish. Other three are shellfish. Will use relative similar like raft or ropes or poles in shallow waters. And they also collecting the type of plastic has been used in different farming industries. And another figure they show here is pathways, because the industry use a lot of plastics, but only some of them has a higher opportunity to lose or to enter the environment. So they also show the different pathway, like maybe caused by by people just retire it or dumping, or other by the bad weathers, the rough weathers, or different, or this lack of collecting site in the harbor. So many different pathways to cause these pressures. And once they have recognized the pressures, they show us the state of aquaculture related litter in the marine environment. So the first one, this data is from the literatures. So they point out the share of aquaculture related litter as a portion of all beach litter in North Sea is 12.4%. And this data has come from, as I said, it's from OSPA Litter Watch, Marine Litter Watch, the Citizen Science Program, and the HELCOM, and some others. So you see the proportion is very high because it's inside the all beach litter. Only the aquaculture industry will contribute about 12%, but it's this data is from the aqua lead. Oh, I will show you by another figure. But if they choose to view the data from another aspect, it means only focusing on 4 items categories in OSPA beach litter database specific to aquacultures. The figure drops to less than 0.1%. It's only 0.3%. What this means, it means in the OSPA beach litter database, and I think it's the most common or popular guideline for beach litter monitoring. The one has more than 100 categories. They only have these 4 categories. It's directly specific to aquaculture, which is this number 114. It's lobster and fish tanks, or some oyster net, oyster trays, or plastic sheeting related to mussel cultures. So only if you have to find these 4 items on the beach, you can say, oh, this item is from aquacultures. But aquaculture use a lot of other plastic. It's not on the list. So they really want to point out this problem. So if they use a wider category or more items related to aquaculture, the percentage will go to this big. So let me show you this is the figure from this Aqualid site websites. So this Aqualid, I think it's related to one of the authors. They publish on their report, the Aqualid report. So let me introduce this figure. So this is the Northeast Atlantic areas, and the colors represent the percentage of litter from aquaculture or fisheries. So you can see these sites are less polluted by aquaculture or fisheries. But if we take a look of the dark red, it means more than 50% of local beach litter or beach plastic is related to aquaculture. So you can see it's in many places, especially in this area. This I think it's North Seas, and this I don't know. These two area and some Mediterranean seas, there are many beaches has very high proportion of aquaculture or aquaculture / fisheries debris. And so this figure is from the literature reviews, and others because they go to 2 beaches for field survey, and these are the results for their field survey. So these are the category of debris from like fishery, aquaculture, shipping industry, household, and others. I didn't show you the others because it's too long. And the locations, the ODH means the small town, the harbors nearby the aquaculture area, and the GND, which is the island very remote and uninhabited islands. So you can see on the beach nearby the harbors, the very high proportion of fishery, and also a lot of relative high proportion of aquaculture fish debris. But because they use their own method, the liter ID method, which is they create a lot of subcategories and then take the photos to ask local fishermen or aquaculture farmers try to identify the source. But if they use the OSPA method, OSPA guideline, the proportion is very, very low. So they use the OSPA guideline, only these 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 categories can link to aquacultures. So you can see they collect maybe hundreds of thousands items, but only 5 items related to aquaculture is relatively very, very low. But they already add some local items like this one, polystyrenes, and they identify some other plastic and polystyrene, the salmon farming plastic pipes into this category, but the proportion is still very low. And also even lower in the remote islands. So you can see the big difference. If they follow the OSPA guidelines, the aquaculture is not a big issue. But if they ask the local fishermen or NGOs and stakeholders, they will realize aquaculture and fishery is a big source of local marine debris or shoreline debris. So these are the debris they collecting from these field surveys. So they will take those photos to ask the people and try to identify the source. And so these are, I think it's related to salmon aquaculture, some pipes maybe related to cage net. And these are rope off cuts from a beach near Scotland. Maybe it's from fishing wildcat captures or some aquacultures. And these are debris relating to the mussel farming. Okay, so next will be the impact. So I think we already familiar with those impact in the paper, which is ingestion and the entanglement, and those plastic debris can modify the assemblage of species, like maybe introduce some invasive or foreign species, and also the issue of microplastic and the plastic additives. Okay. Next will be the response. So they're collecting ideas from all different stakeholders, try to and from literatures. So they list 8 current and possible future, like the method at the industry level. So I think this is very detailed, so I didn't show you here, but you can see on the papers, they have the industry people, the farmers or the manufacturers provide a lot of ideas or some action they already been taken, but beyond the national and the industry level, it's less prevalent. For example, there's no EU regulations on single-use plastic for aquaculture, and it's compared to the household single-use plastic or a consumer product. Which is attract more attentions and more people working on consumer product, but there's still no regulation for the aquaculture. But there's still a lot of single-use plastic like styrofoams and others. And these EPR schemes are not in place yet. There's still a lot of barriers and need to be solved. Okay, so this is moving forward. So they say they have 4 suggestions, like the monitoring observation method need to be changed or need to be make it better and try to address the issue of aquaculture's debris more correctly, because the old categories is not useful or can lead a misunderstanding for the status of aquaculture debris. And the second one is use local knowledge and engage stakeholders. And I think this one is also very important, because if we really want to engage the aquaculture farmers and fishermen, we cannot only to write the papers. We need to try to talk to them. We need to collect their ideas. We need to understand their issues, like the cost of, like they don't have recycling facilities, or they have some issues from other aspects, like economies aspect or other issues, and counter the gear loss, because in these aquaculture field areas, it's less people concerned about the gear loss, even compared to the wild capture. So they mentioned about like some technique already being used in the wild captures, like some GPS try to locate the derelict or loose gears, or just the name tags for the owner's name or the company's name on all the gears, try to identify and reduce the gear loss. And the last one is removal and recycling. And although removal is many people already working for this for many years, but it's still a very big issue, because the recycling rate for aquaculture is still very, very low due to many reasons. So it need to be improved. That. Okay, I think that's one. So they have these these 3 suggestions for both for industry, government, and other stakeholders. So for the industry, the author think they should take the farm or sector levels to responsibility to coordinate with and cross sectors and join the recycling program and adopting best practice. And for the government, they need to improve access of recycling facilities and promoting innovation and research around solutions such as alternative materials and application of recycling plastic, and use more macroeconomic tools. Okay, and other stakeholders like NGO or certification bodies, and for the NGOs, they can raise the public awareness on the issue and to put pressures to government and the industry. And for the certification bodies, they can employ transparent method to of identify and trace details like gear taking in certification process to generate consumer trust. I think the consumer trust is very key in these issues because nowadays, for me, I think the seafood, people don't care about the source of the seafood or how the seafood was produced, especially for the wild catch and the aquacultures. Compared to the other food on land, like the rice, the vegetables, people will think about, is it organic or it's environmental friendly? But to the seafood, I think from my understanding, is people less concerned or think about they need to or they have the responsibility, or they can choose a better seafood, and there's still no options for them to choose a better aquaculture product. So I think there's still many space for the certification bodies or industry to working in this area. Okay, so this is my presentations. And do you have any questions?
Thank you, Jason. And this is interesting paper and new to me. This last year it was published on Marine Pollution Bulletin. And do you have any questions or opinions about this paper, or aquaculture leader? Please feel free to tell your opinions and raise your questions. 네. 호승님 먼저. 호승 is first.
Sunny raised the hand.
Okay. After Sunny. Okay. Sunny.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Jason. It was very interesting. And while you were presenting, you said you have not very familiar to the EDMONET, right? EDMONET is a big Emotinet, sorry. Emotinet is a big data platform in Europe, which includes all available data sets from beach litter monitoring or OSPA program and other floating debris or sunken deep sea debris database. So I think it is very ideal case to integrate all kinds of all available data from European countries and their regional areas. And it is closely related to IMDOS. IMDOS is Integrated Marine Debris Observing System, which is a global movement among scientists. It's specifically physical oceanographers, like modelers, leading this group. The group is growing and growing. So it's IMDOS goes beyond the Europe. It's international, global effort. So I just wanted to add some information to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunny. And Emotinet has other informations for chemicals like temperature and some heavy metal concentration or POPs concentration, something like that. And it shows many maps for contamination. If you are interested in the analysis or data, please visit Emotinet Emotinet. Google it, please. And Hosung has no questions? Okay. Other questions?
Hi, everyone. I don't have a question. I just wanted to comment and say this is really interesting. We've been starting to find more and more aquaculture gear here in Australia. In Western Australia, we started to find juvenile abalone baskets a lot in our quarterly monitoring, and we were actually able to track it back to one company that was deploying these abalone baskets to feed their abalone farm. And we're now working with the company itself. So this is the first year they've counted how many baskets they've deployed, and they're going to count how many they actually retrieve at the end to see how many they lost, so that they can start to implement these new procedures to stop losing all of these plastic baskets. So as Jason said at the end of the paper, I think it's really important to be engaging the industry, because they're obviously the ones creating this, and they, according to them, had absolutely no idea. They just didn't count them, so they didn't think they were losing any, apparently. So I just wanted to say that it's really important to engage the industry.
Great, thank you. And other questions or opinions? And from my side, I'd like to mention about the OSPA protocol. They changed the protocol since they made 2010, and they added many items, and they made joint survey data list. And it has a lot of more than 200, maybe around 200. And they made code according to some protocol, like OSPA protocol and HELCOM data and Mediterranean data. It's similar, but a little different. They mentioned the thing in this paper in OSPA protocol, just the 4 items belong to the aquaculture, but plastic pipe belongs to the others. Then OSPA protocol may underestimate the contribution of aquaculture. So I think they realized at this point when they aggregated the data and analyzed data. So they made joint survey protocol, not survey, joint list. I don't remember the exact name. Anyway, they made some big table and made a code according to all of the items. So, for example, one protocol has 10 plastic and another is 20. Then this is P1, P2, 2, P10, and this item is P1, P10, and P11, P12, right? P2, P20, something like that. It has its name. The protocol name is a joint list of leader categories for marine macro leader monitoring. Ellie will show you. I'd like to mention about this. I'm thinking about, it's just my opinion. We can make APML joint beach leader category like that. And we can apply this category to any countries in the Asian Pacific region. It's very it's a long list. It's called.
Yeah. So, wow, it's so detailed.
Yeah, it's very detailed because one protocol has 100 categories and other has 120, and item number, item name is different, but they have to join. So they made this kind of joint category. But I think it's very good because the environment, marine environment is different and the item is different by country. Then we cannot omit that item. Just because we have the item in my country, we have to join. So it is like a harmonized method, not standardized method. And we experienced the monitoring result, beach leader monitoring result from Indonesia and Philippines. And the main item, even main item is different. Then we have to add, in Philippines, we have to add diapers as another independent item. So we can make this kind of APML, joint beach leader categories. Isn't it good? It's just my opinion.
I think I have every time I think about if we want to try to do a field survey that with a very long list, I think I don't know because if the list has to be more detailed, sometimes it's like for maybe for your list, it's not your detailed list, maybe 100 or 200 items. Maybe it's not, just as you said, it's not suitable for the local beaches in Taiwan, because maybe we have some unique or very local source items. So and I think it's difficult to let I mean, it's very time consuming to do a very detailed list. So sometimes I will think a very detailed list maybe only for solve the local issues, like the Lincoln from Australia. Maybe they recognize or they identify the local issues, so they keep collecting the local items, and their goal is to solve this problem. Like in Taiwan, maybe we only find some buoys from that industry field, and we keep collecting that kind of data. But I mean, because if we want to make a very big list, I think we have to take photos of each items, because maybe for people from different countries, they cannot recognize because they never see that before. So but yeah, but sometimes we will find some items that we never saw before. Maybe it's not a big amount or not so many, but sometimes we really want to find the source. Maybe that big list will be used in these situations. We try to identify some very special items or from far away sources. That is my idea.
Thank you. And too many items in the list are time consuming too. Yeah, that's true. So we have to compromise that point, and it's good point. I think it's good point to add local issues. And in this paper, I'm wondering, Titans? Yeah, it's the plastic sheeting for culture. And they used the onion bag. We found the onion bag from aquaculture, maybe. We didn't realize that it's for aquaculture, but last year maybe we realized that it's from aquaculture, but in this paper they mentioned it too, so it's similar. That's an interesting point. And no other opinions? I just said one thing. And on paper, page 7, this is the thing is cod loaf. In our monitoring site, we found a lot of deliberately cod loaf like this. long loaves, maybe lost or maybe lost I mean, not purpose, but this kind of loaf, definitely they cut this loaf. They mentioned it too. And I'm preparing for monitoring paper. I mentioned this because we found a lot. Last summer in June, more than 100, 200 on one transact, I mean, just a 5-meter transact. We have hundreds of loaves like this. So it's a serious problem, and we can reduce this kind of loaf by campaigns or educations for fishermen, I think. There is no more questions. We will wrap up the seminar, and next seminar is December 5th. Okay. Last time I asked Mr. Dr. Pichi, and he said he can present December, so I'll ask him to present or not. Okay, thank you for participating in the seminar, and APML members, please stay tuned. In 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 11:30. We will resume we will start APML meeting. Thank you again. Bye-bye.